Single-player games hit differently. They're not just about flashy mechanics or endless multiplayer grind. They're about stories that stay with you, worlds that swallow you whole, and moments that make you drop the controller just to say, wow. Today we're diving into 30 single-player masterpieces that are so good they deserve a perfect 10 out of 10. Let's jump right in. Let's start with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. A game that basically turns every desk lamp in your room into a makeshift artifact you suddenly feel like whipping. The action swings between puzzle solving and fist fighting so fast you'll think you accidentally booted up 2 games at once. Every door you kick in feels like it's hiding either treasure or a snake, and honestly it's always the snake. The game has this old school blockbuster vibe, but polished with modern flair that makes you want to yell punch first, ask questions later. If you don't feel like rocking a fedora after this, you're lying. Next, we have Silent Hill 2 Remake, which is the gaming equivalent of inviting trauma into your living room and dimming the lights for mood. The fog rolls in like it just wants to ruin your life, and the monsters are so creatively disgusting you'll start questioning the sanity of whoever designed them. But that's the fun. It's not just scary, it's deeply unsettling, like running into your ex in a grocery store at midnight. The psychological punches land harder than the jump scares, and by the time you're done, you're not sure if you need therapy or a nap, probably both. Now let's talk Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, which looks like a French art exhibit where someone accidentally left turn-based combat lying around. The game feels like you're swinging a paintbrush dipped in chaos at enemies who don't even understand how pretty they look dying. The world is surreal, the combat is stylish, and half the time you're too busy admiring how gorgeous everything looks to notice you just got slapped into oblivion. It's one of those games that makes you want to pause mid-battle, take a screenshot, and claim you've suddenly developed taste in fine art.
A storm is coming.
Next up is Black Myth Wukong, where every boss fight feels like it was handcrafted to personally ruin your evening. The combat is so fluid, it's like someone greased your controller, and every hit lands with enough weight to make you double-check your own bones. The enemy designs are so wild they could headline a monster fashion show, and the scale of battles makes you feel like you wandered into a myth you weren't invited to. It's brutal, it's beautiful, and by the end, you'll wonder if maybe a giant monkey staff is the ultimate life upgrade you've been missing. And next we've got God of War Ragnarok, which is basically dad energy turned up to 11 while still punching gods in the face. The combat feels like slamming a car door on someone repeatedly, but somehow poetic. The banter is sharp, the story's heavy, and every axe throw is so satisfying it should be classified as therapy. The game swings between heartfelt family drama and full-on mythological carnage like it can't decide if it's Shakespeare or WWE, and that's exactly why it's a masterpiece. If this game doesn't make you want to grow a beard, nothing will. And next we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, a game so shiny it feels like Square Enix made it just to flex on everyone else. The battles are smoother than your favorite streamer pretending they don't rage quit, and the cutscenes are basically full-length movies you're forced to watch because they're that good. Half the time you're gasping at the visuals, the other half you're wondering how this game makes you care so much about characters you've technically known since the 90s. It's nostalgic, it's modern, and it's just the right level of confusing to make you question if you've been playing JRPGs wrong your entire life.
Here goes. Together?
Next we have The Last of Us Part 1, which is less of a video game and more of a carefully disguised stress test for your emotions. Every corner you turn feels like a gamble between finding supplies or finding your blood pressure skyrocketing. The atmosphere is so tense you could cut it with a shiv, and the way it blends quiet, peaceful moments with sudden chaos is almost rude. The dialogue hits harder than most action games' boss fights, and the whole experience leaves you staring at the screen afterward like you just survived a family reunion gone wrong. Now let's talk Resident Evil 4, a game that basically invented the art of kicking doors open like you own the place. The pacing is pure chaos in the best way. 1 minute you're juggling inventory like a bargain hunter at a garage sale. The next you're suplexing a cultist and wondering how you got here. It's campy, it's scary, and it's funnier than it has any right to be. By the time you're done, you'll have a newfound respect for green herbs and an irrational hatred of chainsaws. Next up is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which isn't just a game, it's a vendetta. Every fight feels like the universe personally challenging your ego, and every time you finally land that perfect parry, it's like unlocking a new form of enlightenment. But don't get too comfortable. The game will humble you faster than trying to explain Dark Souls lore at a party. It's tough, it's relentless, and it has this bizarre way of making suffering feel rewarding. Basically, Sekiro is the friend who repeatedly slaps you in the face and somehow makes you thank them for it. And then we've got Titanfall 2, which casually dropped one of the greatest single-player campaigns of all time and then walked away like it wasn't a big deal. The gameplay is so fluid, you'll swear you're part ninja, part parkour champion, part guy who shouldn't legally be allowed to wall run this much. The missions are insanely creative, constantly switching things up so you never get bored. And the pacing is pure chef's kiss. By the end, you're left wondering why more games don't just hand you a mech and say, go nuts. Honestly, it's disrespectful how good this campaign is. And next is Ori and the Will of the Wisps, a game so gorgeous it makes your other platformers look like cave drawings. The music alone could make a grown man cry while they're busy failing the same jump for the 20th time. Movement feels buttery smooth, but the game also takes every chance to slap you around just to remind you that beauty hurts. It's the only time you'll rage quit, wipe your tears, and then immediately come back because the screen is too pretty to walk away from. Basically, it's like being bullied by a watercolor painting. Next, we have Stray, the game that made everyone suddenly want to be a cat, despite knowing full well how much chaos cats cause. The physics of knocking random junk off shelves has never been so satisfying, and the way NPCs react to you is so spot on you'll start purring at the screen. It's atmospheric, it's mysterious, and it's low-key hilarious how seriously you take yourself while role-playing as a furball with no job and no rent to pay. If you didn't try meowing repeatedly just to annoy robots, did you even play this game? Now let's talk Witcher 3, the game that redefined side quests by making them better than most other studios' main stories. You'll say, I'll just play for 30 minutes, and 3 hours later you're knee-deep in helping some random villager solve ghost problems like it's your actual career. The combat feels crunchy, the dialogue is sharp, and the sheer size of the world makes you question whether you should quit your job to finish it. Honestly, if you've ever wanted a game that feels like a second unpaid internship in monster hunting, this is it. Next up is A Plague Tale: Innocence, the game that weaponized rats and said, yeah, this is terrifying now. The swarms move like a furry tsunami, and you'll never look at a dark corner the same way again. It balances quiet, tender moments with sudden ratpocalypse mayhem so well you'll wonder if you accidentally downloaded 2 different genres. Every puzzle has you sweating, every chase feels unfair, and by the end you're questioning why cheese doesn't play a bigger role in your arsenal. It's stressful, it's beautiful, and it's absolute chaos in the best way. And then we've got Sleeping Dogs, which is basically an undercover cop drama wrapped in an open-world beatdown simulator. The combat is so brutal and satisfying, it makes every street fight feel like an audition for the next martial arts movie. Driving around Hong Kong is pure chaos, but somehow you still stop to eat noodles because priorities matter. The game nails that perfect mix of seriousness and absurdity, like chasing gangsters one second and singing karaoke the next. Honestly, it's one of those games that punches way above its weight and never misses a hit. And next we have Celeste, the game that politely asks if you'd like a casual platforming adventure, then immediately hurls you into spike-filled nightmares like it's mad you even showed up. Every level feels like the designer was laughing while typing out your suffering, but the thing is, it's good suffering. The jumps are so tight they make your thumbs sweat, and every time you finally clear a section, you feel like you just won the Olympics in finger gymnastics. If you ever wanted a game to gaslight you into thinking pain is fun, this is it. Next, we have Prey, a game where the coffee mug you're looking at might actually try to kill you, and that's not even the weirdest part. The paranoia gets so real you start side-eyeing your own furniture at home, like that's definitely a mimic. The space station is gorgeous in a please don't eat me kind of way, and the freedom to approach problems however you want is both empowering and dangerous. Half the time you feel like a genius hacker, the other half like a scared intern trapped in an office with haunted staplers. It's glorious chaos in a spacesuit. Now let's talk Horizon Zero Dawn, a game where you spend hours pretending you're a master hunter when really you just got stomped by a giant robot giraffe for the third time. The world is stunning, like someone dumped National Geographic into a blender with Transformers, and the combat makes you feel clever even when you're basically just spamming arrows. Every fight is a mix of strategy, panic, and yelling at your screen because you forgot to craft ammo. It's wild, it's gorgeous, and it makes you rethink everything you know about zoos. Next up is Ghost of Tsushima, which is so beautiful it feels like the developers secretly trained weather systems and camera angles to personally flex on you. The combat is this elegant dance of slashing and parrying, except your dance partner is usually 6 angry dudes who all want you dead. Exploration turns into a nature documentary where the foxes are cuter than your real pets, and the duels make you feel like you should have been born with a katana. By the end, you'll want to stand on a windy cliff just to dramatically stare at the horizon, even in real life. And then we've got Elden Ring, a game that takes open world and interprets it as good luck, you'll die anywhere. Every corner hides something that wants to flatten you into the ground, and somehow you love it. The bosses are massive, terrifying, and designed to ruin your confidence in record time, but when you finally win, it feels like your controller just gave you a college degree. The exploration is endless, the misery is constant, and yet you'll sink hundreds of hours into it with a smile. It's basically suffering turned into an art form. Next, Alan Wake 2, a game that proves horror doesn't need jump scares when it can just make you question your own sanity. Every chapter feels like someone took a perfectly normal detective story, dumped it into a blender with nightmares, and then whispered, "Good luck," as they hit puree. The lighting alone deserves an Oscar, and half the time you're not even sure if you're playing a game or starring in a true crime documentary directed by demons. It's stylish, it's terrifying, and it will absolutely make you afraid of turning on your own desk lamp. Next, we have Mad Max, which is less of a game and more of a car insurance company's worst nightmare. You spend half your time bolting spikes and flamethrowers onto your ride, and the other half ramming into desert maniacs like it's rush hour in hell. The wasteland looks dead, but it's buzzing with chaos, and every fight feels like a demolition derby where the prize is not dying thirsty. It's gritty, it's loud, and it makes you wonder why every car in real life doesn't come with a harpoon gun by default. Now let's talk Uncharted 4, which is basically family drama, the action movie edition. Every level is a ridiculous set piece that feels like the devs sat in a room and said, what if everything explodes all the time but make it classy? The climbing is so absurdly acrobatic you'll wonder if your own arms are defective, and the shootouts always escalate from 0 to chaos in seconds. The best part? It still manages to sprinkle in witty banter while you're dangling off cliffs like you're auditioning for the world's most dangerous comedy club.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Next up is Cyberpunk 2077, a game that went from being a meme to a masterpiece with just a few patches and some DLC steroids. Night City is alive in that please don't talk to strangers kind of way, and every alley looks like it's hiding at least 3 crimes and a neon noodle shop. The customization goes so deep you'll spend more time tweaking your character than actually saving the world. But that's the fun. It's stylish, chaotic, and basically the digital equivalent of living inside a hacker's fever dream.
I'll sell you for scrap!
And then we've got Detroit Become Human, which is basically one giant butterfly effect simulator where every choice you make feels like it will either save the world or ruin Thanksgiving dinner. The branching paths are so ridiculous that by your second playthrough, you'll swear the game is gaslighting you with new options. The dialogue swings between deep philosophy and did they really just say that? In seconds. And the QuickTime events somehow make you feel like an Olympic athlete. By the end, you're not even sure if you played a game or accidentally signed up to direct a sci-fi Netflix series. Next, Dying Light 2, a game that politely gives you the option to fight zombies but strongly suggests you just climb every building like you're Spider-Man on caffeine. The parkour is so smooth you'll consider jumping across your own furniture at home, and the combat is like medieval cosplay with added screaming. Daytime feels like a warm-up jog, but when night hits, the game turns into a full-blown cardio workout where your heart rate monitor might actually explode. It's fast, it's chaotic, and it's basically cardio disguised as survival horror. Next we have Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is less of a video game and more of an unsettling audio hallucination you happen to control with a controller. The voices in your head are so convincing you'll start arguing with them like they pay rent. And the visuals make everything feel simultaneously beautiful and deeply cursed. Combat is tight, but honestly, the real battle is trying to figure out if you're losing to enemies or your own brain. It's haunting, it's heavy, and it makes you want to turn your headphones down just so you can breathe again.
Yes, it's the same with heights. You can stand on the edge, pretend it's going to be okay. But you know that death is near, waiting.
Now let's talk Skyrim, the game that refuses to die no matter how many times you uninstall it. You can shout dragons out of the sky, steal cheese from strangers, and spend an unhealthy number of hours modding the game until your PC begs for mercy. The quests range from epic world-saving missions to helping some random villager find his lost hat, and somehow both feel equally important. It's the kind of game where you promise yourself you'll play for an hour, then wake up 3 days later wondering why your character is a werewolf bard who only eats cabbages. Next up is Metal Gear Solid 5, a game where stealth means you can sneak into an enemy base wearing cardboard and still be considered a professional. The sandbox is so open-ended you'll spend more time trying ridiculous experiments than actually completing missions. 1 minute you're calling in an airstrike, the next you're ballooning a goat into the sky because you can. It's absurd, it's genius, and it feels like the developers actively encouraged chaos just to see what you do. Basically, it's tactical espionage with a strong dose of nonsense.
Analysis complete.
And finally, we've got Red Dead Redemption 2, a game so immersive it tricks you into caring about horse grooming like it's a real career path. The world is massive, stunning, and filled with so many details you'll forget what the main story even was after your 5th bar fight. Hunting, fishing, poker, train robberies, it's basically a Wild West simulator that makes you want to grow a cowboy mustache and yell yeehaw at strangers. It's gorgeous, it's emotional, and it might be the only game where you'll apologize to your console for shooting a virtual deer. And there you have it, 30 single-player experiences that prove games can be art, adventure, and storytelling all in one. Whether you're exploring myth, horror, or just riding off into the sunset, these games show why single-player will never die. Which one's your personal 10 out of 10? Drop it in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button if you love single-player as much as I do. See you in the next one.